Right, so that was just a recap of everything that we did on Friday morning. So, what I want you to do today is to measure the mass of a couple of objects. Okay, so mass is the amount of matter in an object. So, this is often confused with weight. For example, when you stand up on a scales in your bathroom, you're not measuring your weight, you're measuring your mass. Okay, so that it's a confusing one because we use the word weight in our day to day. You know, have you gained weight? Have you lost weight? Measure your weight. All of those things should actually be mass because that's the amount of matter in an object. So when you stand on the scales, you are measuring the amount of matter inside you. So the definition is going to be important. The SI unit for mass, so the standard unit for mass, I don't know if I think we had this in our list the other day, is kilograms. And it does happen, again, speaking about what I spoke about with centimeters, a lot of the time it's more appropriate to measure in grams, depending on what it is you're measuring. So I have a little investigation here, okay? So I don't want to say too much about it. I want you to measure the mass of a solid. So a book, a pencil, a pen, a pencil case, um, a marker, anything that's solid, okay? And then I want you to measure the mass of a liquid. So the most obvious thing would be water that you get out of the tap in the lab. So how do you measure the mass of just the water? And then the last thing would be something that's like awkward, like a bag, or like obviously you're not going to have a suitcase in class, so I thought you like a school bag. I don't know if you've ever noticed this. I know when I go on holidays and I try to measure the mass of my suitcase because I don't want to get in trouble at the airport. When I put it down on the weighing scales in my bathroom, normally it completely covers the numbers, so I can't see the numbers. So, is there a better way of getting the mass of something like that? Something that's awkward, something that is too large that when you put it down on something like a weighing scales, it actually covers over the numbers. So it's not kind of an easy thing to measure the mass of. And what I want you to do is for each of the above, I want you to plan. So how will you do it? How will you measure the mass of a solid? How will you measure the mass of a liquid? Now for some it'll be easier than others, that first bit. I want you to write your method, so a step by step. Step one, I will do this. Step two, I will do this. Third thing is not necessarily in this order, but what apparatus will you need? So what do you need? You should be able to get pretty much all of it out there in the lab that you need. And then a diagram. So how is the apparatus arranged into a diagram? And then what I would like, I'm just going to add it in here. I would also like your results. So what was the mass of whatever your solid was? You'll need to tell me what it was. Like, was it a copy? Just so I have an idea. What was the mass of your liquid? And what was the mass of your bag, your awkward large object? Is that okay? So I want you to take a few minutes now. You're going to have to do basically write up 3 of these. So 3 short little experiment write-ups. Now they should only be maybe 10 lines each. Okay, these are not hugely detailed write-ups. And when you have them done, you can submit them to Schoology. Okay, so take down your notes that we discussed. Go back here. And take down your notes on mass. So a heading measuring mass, the definition of mass, and the standard unit of mass. And then carry out these 3 investigations. Write them down into your copy under the following headings down here. And when you have all 3 done, upload to Schoology. Will you please be careful that, I mean, you can work in your groups of 3, so the people in the middle going out to the sides, you can work in your groups of 3, but I need submissions from everybody. Okay, now whether that is one person sharing it with the other 3 or whether everybody writes down their own version, I don't mind, but I need a submission from everybody. Is that okay? Cool, so they're due your three little experiments are due for Friday.